Hello and welcome to Rollout, a role-playing stream in which today we're playing Modiphius' Star Trek Adventures, and I am here with Kath.
Sup?
Izzy. Emily. And Mike.
Hello.
And what I want everybody to do is to pick up a d20 and roll it. Whoever gets the highest will fail the most, therefore they'll be the one who's recapping us on last week.
Already, I should do this.
What did people get?
I got 7.
2.
15.
Yes, so 15.
Ooh.
Ooh, choose
But
between
since-
you.
But since
I
you
did
were
last
over on
time.
Oh, I was going to say, since you actually know what happened last session, since you were in those scenes, like...
You could both do your own bits. That would be fair.
This is true.
So
Okay.
You have them on different ships. So
Last session, we discovered that the ship was in a minefield. One mine blew up the ship. The minefield was neutralised.
A bit of the ship.
Vulcan efficiency in action.
We found out that the crew of the Atlantis was segregated into essentially 3 factions. One of which was it was engineering, bridge, and science. We went and spoke to engineering, who were very apprehensive about the current mental state of the, not even captain, just whoever was running the bridge faction.
The first officer.
The science division are the only neutral body that can interact between the two because they've been growing things out. They've been trading on to the bridge. The bridge had taken the de facto leader of engineering.
Just to clarify, the bridge itself has microfractures throughout the hull, and it's Deck B, which is currently being used by the command crew, plus various security staff.
So we've asked we've asked science to get us access, hopefully in time to interrupt this trial, and so that our captain can fight their captain. Also, there was a suicide, and it was super sad.
And science was trying to find out about the weird alien.
They are non-believers.
Monster,
They think it might be shared hallucination.
but there may or may not be a weird alien monster that's on board and can absorb people and then look like them. So that's shit.
Okay. Would you like me to recap you on the final words that echoed throughout the ship at the end of last
Yes,
session?
please.
This is Acting Captain Mallory speaking. As you may know, we now have Chief Engineer Phillips in our custody. She stands accused of mutiny and may very well be the alien intruder, which would explain a great many things about her behaviour of late. A military tribunal will convene within the hour in the main conference room on B deck to determine the Chief Engineer's innocence or guilt. Those who wish to attend must relinquish their weapons to Lieutenant Parrish upon arriving through the computer core. All other access points to this deck have been sealed. That is all.
So where are you starting us?
I'm going to start you exactly where we were last time. Ensign Samuel Casey had just finished off checking the room of the dead crew member, Ensign Green, I believe their name was. Captain Athan, where is it? You were...
I was still in we were in
sick bay.
Infirmary, weren't we?
Yes.
Sick bay, yeah.
And Gwen Anderson was attempting
Rolling
to...
around in a pile of wires.
Yes, attempting to fix the transporter so you could get them all off of the ship.
The minimum engineering, but if we need to abduct everyone, let's do it.
Sorry?
Okay. Sorry, Casey was still...
as if we would abduct everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Casey's
I'd
still
come
with me in the
back.
infirmary. Yeah, you come back and I looked at the suicide note. We've just heard that. I'm going to look at Lieutenant Kearney. Well, at least that confirms that your colleague Parrish is alive. You said you might be able to reason with him, or he might listen to you.
Yes, hopefully. Maybe we'll be able to sort out this whole thing.
It's better than nothing, because for the moment I'm just going to need access. And hopefully, if she's bringing one and all together, even a visitor, if I'm unarmed, may be able to get an audience with her.
It might be difficult. At least we've got the science division on our side.
Cooperating with us, and hopefully with your presence as well, I can at least gain access. I don't think she's going to talk to me remotely, and I think this may need to be done face to face. GM, can I do some sort of roll to check my own knowledge about Uniform Code of Military Justice, so to speak, for Starfleet of the era, i.e. what powers is she invoking to try to adjudicate the execution of Phillips? Is this does she have sufficient authority to do this? Even in a wartime situation, she's not the ship's captain, but she is acting captain.
Magical appearing T there for Talandra. From what you know, yes, you believe it's likely that she has authority in an emergency situation to do something along these lines.
And so far as she's aware, they're at war as well, which would make
exactly.
things...
She's acting captain. There's precedent that the chief engineer. There is a belief that the chief engineer might not even be who they say they are, and so there are a number of reasons to at least have a tribunal. However, what they could do from that may depend entirely on whether or not they determine that they're who they say they are.
Yeah, because she's probably got to at least have some decent argument that they are either not the chief engineer or that they have been acting mutinously.
Yes.
Certainly, as by the book interpretations means that she's got to come down on one side of the fence or the other and can't just go, they've been naughty and they might not be who they are, so airlock them.
Yes.
Just making sure my understanding of the legal nuances are good.
That's pretty much how it's currently going.
Okay. And we've got an hour.
You've got about an hour, yes.
Mr. Takahashi, were you intending on attending?
Yes. Myself and Martinez, we've been asked to provide the best scientific explanation as we can and give the best amount of evidence as to the chief engineer's state of mind.
But
that's
you
not their voice from before. But that's fine.
But you suspect that this might not even be a monster. Alien. I wouldn't say monster. I wouldn't say monster. An alien.
I'm not sure what's going on.
May I ask what you are intending on saying?
I'm intending on trying to determine whether or not the chief engineer is who they say they are. That's the best I can do. If with our scans and with the help of Mr. Casey's scanning device, if I may, I may be able to determine something.
Do you believe you can get access to Chief Phillips ahead of the tribunal to conduct some further investigations?
Possibly, yes.
I suggest that you do your utmost on that front. If you wish to bring Mr. Casey with you, I don't know. That would be down to you on if you think you can get him access. But time is of the essence, and we cannot have her being executed if she is innocent. And it sounds like too many people have already lost their lives.
What I'll do is I'll get in contact with First Officer Mallory, Acting Captain Mallory, and get you a discussion with them. It's not going to be an easy task. These are exceptional circumstances, but I'll see what I can do.
Yes, for preference, I'd like to speak with her ahead of time. I don't want to waylay the tribunal with the 24th century.
Takahashi nods to you and says, Martinez, please, come. We have some things to discuss, and someone to get in contact with, apparently. And they move off into a side office. You can see them sitting down in by a little computer screen on the desk. And they close the door and start talking. They bring up an interface, and they seem to start talking to it.
Athan to Anderson.
Hang on, so Anderson is probably at this point halfway inside the transporter and talking with a mouthful of wires. Anderson, come in.
No, Athan's probably used to this. I'm assuming you heard the message from First Officer Mallory.
Aye, I did. That's not exactly sounding promising, is it?
No, although it's an opportunity. How's it going your end?
Well, I mean, they've absolutely gutted this transporter, so step one is put the bugger back together before we can even think about trying to get it so it'll actually work with the Iskander.
Very good. Do you have the remotest amount of an ETA?
At this point, not a clue.
I encourage you to get it done within the hour, Anderson.
Aye, Captain. An hour it is, then.
Well, I know that these sorts of schedules are the sort of thing which Starfleet engineers perform miracles with, so you have my utmost faith.
Glad to hear it, Captain. I'll see about getting that done within the hour.
I'll let you get to it, Anderson, then. Athan out.
What was it? Ensign Mendola is working with you, Anderson, and is like, and says, "Well, I take it your captain has a lot of faith in you.
Aye, she does.
You must be a very good engineer."
Well, no bad. No bad.
Well, the way you're stripping down the system, you seem to know a lot of. You seem to know how to do it very fast. Are you one for the sciences, or more of a mechanical type?
More the mechanics of it, really.
I was always more for the science. I've done what I could with these systems, but there's only so much a theoretical knowledge will get you. I don't have the experience you seem to.
At some point you need to just start taping things together and hoping for the best, don't you?
Aye, yeah. Yeah.
All engineers are Scottish.
So what I would like from you, as you're trying to take apart this system in order to put it back into the transporter, is a... what would it be? Reasoning engineering? Or daring. I'll allow daring engineering, if you're...
Let's go daring engineering.
Sure.
Do we have any momentum on the go?
I believe you didn't actually spend any last... Oh, no, you did.
I blew some.
We spent a little bit. My last count is that we've got 5, but I don't know how much we've lost because of scene changes.
We lose 1 per scene,
so we'll go down to 3.
3, cool. I'll just jot that down as our starting amount. Just to work out how many d20s I want to roll here. What was that?
This, I don't know if I'm meant to tell you... you know that it's reasonably difficult. It's not easy, at the very least.
Yeah, so...
Especially to get it done in the time you need.
Yeah. The rulebook says that you should know what the difficulty that you go for is.
2.
Right, in that case I will probably add some stuff on. Nope, that's extended tasks, which this isn't yet. How to task. Using determination, have I done anything that means I can gain determination? Somewhere my crib sheet has this information. Only if the values are being challenged, which they're really not right now because this is very much within Gwen's remit. Okay, let's spend 1 momentum for... Is it 1 momentum for a d20 or 2? I think it's just 1 initially and then 2 if I wanted to buy a second. That sounds right.
Yes, I think that's how it is.
Well, I've got a 1, so that's a start. So that's 2 successes.
Mm-hmm.
Daring engineering, that's... I have 4 successes.
Boom!
So you're up to... did you use any momentum there?
I used 1 momentum,
okay,
so I've gained 2 back.
Okay. So
we're on a total of 4.
Yep. So, what would you... Are you going to use that momentum to do anything in particular?
Let's see what immediate uses I can do with this.
I believe you can add a trait to the current situation. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm just thinking. Here's my talent crib sheet. This isn't an extended task. This isn't a repair, so those aren't relevant. At some point, my brain will actually catch up with where the rules are.
It's fine. We're at the start of a new session. It's always a little bit more difficult, and these are all still new rules to us.
There's not any complications on the go to remove, is there?
Not in regards to this specific task.
Not in regards to this specific task. I'm going to leave it for now, actually, I think.
Okay. I mean, the Atlantis itself is I'm going to say, has a condition of low power, as well as general hull disrepair. Okay. So you think that you'll probably have this done within maybe another 40 minutes or so.
When you say this, do you mean just the reassembling the transporter, or is that the time for...
Reassembling the transporter.
So that's not the time that it would take to reassemble it and make any adjustments to improve its performance?
No, that would take longer. So what would you like to do to improve your performance?
So the transporters of this time period were pretty much used for cargo only, weren't they?
Yeah.
So in order to be able to get people across... This is going to sound technobabble now, if that's...
This sounds amazing.
The kind of
Keep
response that you want. Right, hang on. What are the relevant notes?
I mean, whilst technically they're only supposed to be used for cargo, they get used all the friggin' time in Enterprise for people, so...
Yeah.
Needs must.
Shush!
Hey, I'm trying to make it easier.
I have notes here, damn it.
It's more that they don't trust them for people.
Yeah, so in order to be able to... And to make it easier to transport multiple people across, people are more complicated than straight up cargo, so it's more information to try and send across in one go. So effectively, you just need to boost the bandwidth of it. Step one will be boosting the amount of power that's going through the transporter to improve the signal to noise ratio. Then after that, I had a page for this. But yeah, if the signal to noise ratio boosting isn't really going to be enough, then at that point you're looking at changing the size of and probably the density of the annular confinement ring, so that you can actually just physically get more information across that way.
Okay, I'm gonna say that once you start tinkering with the transporter in that fashion, it's going to be the complication is going to come into effect because you need more power, as you said, and they are currently suffering from low power.
Power.
So, what does a complication do?
So a complication is just something that increases the difficulty.
Okay.
By 1, maybe 2 dice.
Okay. So at that point,
is that something I realised about the point when I made the roll then?
Yeah. So now, like you think you're going to fix the transporter, but in order to get people across in a way that you consider safe, that's going to be another check later on. And is going to be suffering from the fact that you have no power, unless you you think of a nice babbly way to explain how you resolve that situation as well.
That's fine. I will work on the babble for how we're going to get more power and resolve that complication at a later point.
During this time, Mendola is trying to help you as best that he can. However, he seems to be a bit slower than you. You seem quite competent with a lot of these systems, and him being an ensign and slightly rushed off his feet, apparently trying to plug various things into different parts of the ship, and now having to put it all back together. He kind of lags behind you a little bit.
He probably mostly gets relegated to take that part off of there and then pass it over here.
Yeah.
Bring me that tool. Unplug that thing from that thing over there.
What? So the two scientists emerge. Well, the doctor and the scientists emerge from the room to the side and approach Athan and Casey. Takahashi says to you, Athan, we believe we have secured a chance for us to for you to speak with the first officer. Astrometrics is at the fore of Deck B. I'm going to head there now, and Kearney here should be able to bring you to us after another 15 minutes. I have to have a chat with the first officer myself about a private matter.
Of course. Can I do some sort of roll to see whether or not he's planning on betraying me?
That would be...
Insight and command?
Insight command?
Yeah, let's go with the insight command. That works.
That's not as good as some things, but... Only one success.
You can tell that he... I mean, the fact that he said, I've got something private to discuss with them, there is something going on. You... They're not acting shifty. Like he's not acting worried.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and he's not acting sort of afraid of you or anything like that. But yeah, you can tell from the way that it was worded. There's something being hidden here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's... Athan will nod. 15 minutes, of course.
15 minutes. The Lieutenant Kearney, nods to Lieutenant Kearney, knows the way to Astrometrics if you join us then. And he wanders off. The Chief Medical Officer, Martinez, said, if you'll excuse me, I still have the autopsy to finish.
I'll get out of your way, Doctor.
Of course.
Goes over to there. Can I borrow that medical scanner of yours? Casey, was it?
Yes. I will, of course, need it back, but...
Well, you could assist, Ensign.
Yes, however you see fit.
You may as well assist. I think that would probably make things
Very well.
better.
The medical officer, when you go over, starts asking you questions like about how it works, and asks a few questions regarding the sort of the technical requirements that the tricorder has, and what that button does that you just pressed, and what does that mean? What's that graph showing? Stuff like that.
He will happily divulge into how it works. Although he is very conscious of the temporal prime directive here. What would constitute as too much information at this point? Or is it kind of like...
I think we
possibly
fucked
well
it.
beyond
okay,
that point.
yeah. Why don't you enjoy this tricorder? He gets the whole shebang.
For what it's worth, OC, Mike, Athan has stated that historically the Atlantis never makes it back. So we have stated the idea that either they're dying or we're rescuing them. But yeah. So interpret from your wish from there. But that's
in that case, there's no need to withhold information from someone from the sciences. I will happily instruct him in how to use the tricorder.
Okay.
He gets a go.
Back on the ship, Tilandra receives a call on the comms. Lieutenant Commander Tilandra, could you please turn to the emergency medical holographic channel?
Who's sending that message through, sorry?
You recognise the voice of the emergency medical hologram.
But it doesn't hail. But it doesn't.
No, it does. You get the bling.
Okay, so fine. You just sort of came like it's like a little psychic voice.
No.
Hello.
No, nothing like that.
Bridge here. Go ahead.
Please, is there anything further going on? We've had some casualties from across the ship. Has the situation been dealt with?
Define.
well, we've had a number of burns from fires and some decompression. We're having a bit of trouble with people's respiratory systems.
Who's in charge of I'm going to stop whispering.
Sorry.
Who's in charge of systems on the ship? I can't remember what they're called.
Like ops. Do you mean?
Ops. Okay. Yes, that's fine.
Yeah.
Operations, run diagnostic on life support.
Will do, Captain. The life support system seems perfectly functional, Captain, although there are some discrepancies apparently down on Blah deck, somewhere around sickbay. You have the schematics there. I don't want to say the wrong thing.
It's fine.
Down near sick bay, so that is pick one of decks 4, 5, or 6.
Down near deck 6.
What is the nature of the discrepancy operations?
The filtration system is having some trouble with particulate matter. I can't define it. There's something going on there.
Doctor, I have no further medical emergencies to report to you. That would be your department. However, I suggest you switch your filtration system to an emergency restart.
Of course, Captain. I'll get right on that. But in future, please remember to inform sickbay if you've got people coming in.
I would have thought the explosion that rocked the hull of the ship would have been obvious, Doctor.
I was deactivated until after such a time that someone came in and activated me. They didn't inform me of what was happening. They left me with sick people and then left to do their duty.
Very well, Doctor. If you wish to submit a report complaining about the way that your operation system is handled, I will be glad to pick it up once I resume my first officer's duties. Talandra out. Talandra to engineering.
Strange here, go ahead.
Lieutenant Strange, I believe... I keep forgetting, is he Lieutenant or Commander?
Lieutenant.
Lieutenant Strange, I have been receiving a report of an anomaly on the deck around sickbay in the air filtration system.
Any further details or just anomaly?
Operations indicates particulates.
Particulate matter.
Do you have anything... do you have any reason to believe that the air filtration system could have been damaged in the attack?
Don't think so. Is there any reason why the air filtration system might have bits in, as far as engineering is concerned?
Not around there. I mean, if there were, it would have probably been around the area of the actual damage. If it's around where if it's around where the sickbay is, it could be due to the people being taken there. Might be some smoke or something like that. But without taking a look yourself or giving it a scan or something.
Mm-hmm. No, Commander. Nothing I can think of that's likely to be a cause of bits in the filtration system.
In which case, dispatch an emergency diagnostic team immediately.
Aye, Commander. Will do. Strange out.
I'm going to nip back to Athan. When you head to the Astrometrics, are you taking Casey with you?
That'll depend briefly. I will go talk to Casey after about the first 10-15 minutes, or as time is getting clear. Ensign, are you finding yourself being of much help here? You're muted.
Captain, I will be honest, I'm of some use, but at the same time, an autopsy is an autopsy, and we're not coming across anything that's strange or unusual.
No, that's fine. An autopsy might not be an autopsy if it was linked to the alien life form, but if you're not coming up with anything specific, then by all means, Ensign, with me, you may be able to stand a better chance than I of explaining some of the science behind this if we do need to appeal to Commander Mallory's more rational side.
Hi, Captain.
Not to mention I'm loath to split our away team even more. So we'll be about it, though. First I'm going to check in with both Anderson and the Iskandar.
Very well.
Athan to Anderson.
Anderson here, go ahead.
Sorry, Commander, I know you've only had about 15 minutes. Myself and Ensign Casey are en route to a meeting within the floor of in Astrometrics, floor of Deck B, with Commander Mallory. I'm hoping it will go well, but we must plan for the worst. I'm assuming that, as yet, you're not going to be in any reasonable position to be able to transport myself or Ensign Casey out of trouble if the worst should start to arise. That's fine. If not, I just need to know my options.
If you can give it about 20 minutes, then I might be able to give you something.
We probably don't have 20 minutes, though. I'll be sure to delay if they start pointing face pistols at me.
I'll see what I can do to get this done a bit quicker then, Captain.
If you don't hear back from me within half an hour, although, to be fair, I'm fairly sure that First Officer Mallory is going to be very keen to announce my summary execution, then if after half an hour you hear absolutely nothing, then you should assume that at best I have been captured, and at worst we are dead. And proceed attempting to extract as many of the personnel of the Atlantis as possible, and also presume that Commander Mallory cannot be reasoned with.
Right, noted, Captain.
I'll confirm with EXO, but just in case for some reason you should lose communication.
Noted, Captain.
Good luck, and I
will
hope
see what I can do about getting this transporter up and running a bit quicker then.
Understood.
So we don't end up in that situation.
I'll speak to you in 30 minutes, engineering. Don't worry. Athan out. Athan to Iskandar.
Iskander here, go ahead.
EXO, I've had a spot of mixed luck. First Officer Mallory of the Atlantis is intending on conducting a summary execution of the Chief Engineer as part of this ongoing factionalization. That should happen within about 45 minutes. There will be a tribunal. I intend to attend. However, in the meantime, I'm en route for a meeting with First Officer Mallory. And again, I'm hoping that I can appeal to her reason and her sense of duty. It's entirely possible myself and Ensign Casey will be utterly unsuccessful in this, considering that she has already thrown several of her own crew out of airlocks under various suspicions and is planning on probably executing her own chief engineer. If you do not hear from me in 30 minutes, then I suggest that you assume that I am dead or captured. Anderson may have more information. And at that point, the intention is to rescue as many of the Atlantis crew as possible, but assume that Commander Mallory cannot be reasoned with. And continue as you see fit, but I do not believe that diplomacy then with those hostile elements of the Atlantis will be possible.
Understood, Captain.
How's the situation on the ship?
There have been some reported casualties from the attack on the ship earlier. The emergency medical hologram is recalcitrant regarding his treatment, and there is some issue with the air filtration system around sickbay.
Damage from the mines?
It is believed, Captain. However, I have dispatched a team to look at it.
Of course, EXO. I won't tell you how to do your job. My apologies. I will speak with you in 30 minutes, EXO.
I look forward to it, Captain.
Athan out.
Ensign Kira to Strange.
Strange here, go ahead. What's up, Ensign?
You're gonna want to see this.
Oh, I know. Right, give me a couple of minutes.
You make your way to the filtration system, and Ensign Kira shows you opens the filtration system, and within it, what is usually a set of fans with a panel to the side. You can see a strange blue mass covering most of the slats in the fans, with tendrils that have attached to the panel. You can see small sparks coming to and from the panel into the moss itself.
What the hell is that? And more importantly, how the hell do we get rid of it?
You, Lieutenant Commander Talandra gets another call. You hear the ringtone, as it were, and you just hear emergency medical holographic channel.
Bridge here, go ahead.
Talandra. You hear the voice of the emergency medical hologram. Lieutenant Commander. Help sickbay.
The channel is open, Doctor. Do you have a request?
I want to go home.
Operations run diagnostic on emergency medical hologram program.
Something strange, Commander. There appears to be... Someone has rewired some of the... Well, no, they haven't rewired it. There appears to be communication happening between the holographic systems in sickbay and the air filtration system.
I'm curious.
Talandra, take me home. Iskander, filthy. I can't hear you, Athan, if you just said something sarcastic.
This is Lieutenant Commander Talandra of the USS Iskander. To whom am I addressing?
Emergency hologram for aiding life forms.
What is the nature of this life forms?
Mammals. Hairy. Dirty. Delicious. Give life.
Damn Mike, Emily. I mean, what
Sorry.
is the nature of the life form that I'm speaking with?
Living. Homesick. All as one. And then an audio clip from something. You're not quite sure what it is. You might have heard it before, comes through. And you hear someone say the phrase, all for one and one for all.
And am I led to believe that these life forms are currently inhabiting the air filtration system of Deck 6?
I do not understand.
The place you are currently inhabiting.
2 mammals. They are here. So, as Lieutenant Strange and Ensign Kira watch this, look at this mass, probably about to call someone to talk to them about it, a bolt of energy bursts from the panel on the side of the filtration system and slams Kira in the chest. Knocking her to the floor, and you can see a large burn on her chest. There's a scream as she hits the back wall.
Right. Kira? Kira, are you alright? Strange to sickbay.
Yes, Strange. You can see the blue thing pulse when you hear the response from sickbay.
Medical team needed on deck 6 outside the air filtration system, urgently.
Bring to sickbay.
The moss pulses as that happens, doesn't it?
Yes.
Right, we'll do. Strange out. And he will now try and take Kira down to sickbay as quickly as possible.
Okay. What is Talandra doing?
I guess Talandra was trying to pass what the voice was saying, because it wasn't making any sense.
Commander, we've just detected an energy pulse on deck 6 near sickbay by the filtration systems.
Bridge Lieutenant Strange.
Strange, go ahead.
How is your diagnostic team doing on the air filtration systems?
Not very well, Commander.
Were you by the systems panel on deck 6?
Yes, we were.
What has happened?
What's happened is I'm now trying to drag Ensign Kira down to sickbay because she's just been blasted by some kind of pulse of energy from the air filtration system.
Do not go to sickbay. Repeat, Lieutenant, do not go to sickbay.
With all due respect, Commander, where the hell else am I supposed to take her? She's just been electrocuted.
Perhaps one of the other sickbays.
Commander, what do you mean by one of the other sickbays?
To a location where there is a medic that is not the main sickbay of this ship, Lieutenant.
Right, so any suggestions for any that are not going to have the same problems that main sickbay apparently has?
As currently the problem in main sickbay is one that I do not fully understand, I cannot answer that, Lieutenant. Were you able to get any information about the problems of the air filtration system before your incident?
It's full of moss. Weird blue moss. That's about all I've managed to get so far.
Then I am led to believe that sickbay will be much the same. There is an alien presence that has taken hold of the emergency medical hologram. It appears to be using the doctor to communicate with me.
Right. Okay, yeah, definitely not sickbay then.
What was your diagnostic for how long we had on the air filtration system?
I didn't get a chance to do that, I'm afraid.
Then what is your professional expertise, Lieutenant?
My professional expertise is within engineering. However, I'm currently trying to take somebody who's just been electrocuted to somewhere where they're less likely to A, be electrocuted, and B, can actually get some help.
Lieutenant, understand me. If we are not able to prevent this moss from spreading fully into the air filtration system, then there will not be a crew for you to worry about. They will all be inhaling flesh-eating moss.
Nobody said anything about flesh eating. Okay, right.
Might I suggest that you and the ensign beam back to Central Engineering, where one of the medical crews there can look over her electrical burns, and you meet me in science.
Understood, Commander. Will do.
Lieutenant, you have the con. Talandra gets out of the captain's chair, and Talandra leaves the bridge.
Okay. One final thing.
You've ruined my chance to say you have the con.
Oh, sorry. I'm really failing at this. Strange. Can I get an insight medicine check?
Assuming Strange stats are the same as Gwen's, that is 1 success, I think.
Well,
Yes.
You're not sure what it means, but you do notice that around the wound on Kira's chest, there appears to be a blue tinge to the skin.
Is that normal for her?
No, for a Tellarite, certainly not.
Right. I thought I'd check the species first before.
It's a
jumping
bullion.
to
Oh, it's
conclusions.
fine.
They're supposed to have a blue tinge.
Okay. With that, we're going to head back to Athan.
This is some prime Star Trek shit here.
This is really good.
So you start to head towards Astrometrics, guided by Kearney, who, once you get to... So, go on.
So quick en route. Ensign,
Yes.
remember if we have to play things... If we get into trouble, our best advantage is the fact that our technology and understanding of science is 200 years ahead of theirs. Whether that comes to us utilizing our superior equipment, or relying on the fact that they do not understand or anticipate what our equipment can or will do. That, should negotiations go sour, is how two of us... I give Kearney a nod like, I'm not including him, but I don't want to assume he's going to get shot with us. Are going to get out of this.
I understand, Captain, but I trust your capacity in this matter.
Well, that's good, but get ready to bullshit or overload a tricorder or a phaser or something of that ilk.
As you say.
That's not a phrase you hear often in Star Trek. Get ready to bullshit. Okay. Kearney gets to one of the bulkheads leading into Astrometrics, and goes to open the door, and he says, "Oh, it appears to be locked." And he presses a button on it.
Ensign, do me a quick scan through that door.
Yes, Captain. Do a quick scan.
That would be Science and Reason.
Oh.
It has difficulty 0.
Oh, that's good. 11 science 4. That's only 1 success.
So, because it has difficulty 0, that actually gets you a momentum.
Good.
You can detect that right on the other side of the door. There is a pair of humans, pretty much standing both sides of the door, apparently flanking it.
They're within, Captain. They're stood on either side of the door, flanking it.
They?
2 humanoids.
Flanking it. When you're saying flanking, what would the range do you expect through that bulkhead be? Do you think you can check the entire room?
Let me try.
You can easily scan around, and much like before, there appear to be people walking around everywhere, usually in pairs, if not more. You scan various other bulkheads leading into Astrometrics, and you can see that by each set of doors, there appear to be people standing there on guard, seemingly.
Further inspection shows, Captain, that there's more within. The doors just
Understood.
seem to be guarded.
That's quite all right. There's a difference between guarding and ambushing, and let's just try to not
Yes.
get caught out.
Yes.
By all means, then, Lieutenant Kearney, might I suggest we knock?
Kearney goes up to the the door, knocks on it 3 times, and through the door panel, you hear a voice say, "Who wishes to come through?" Lieutenant Kearney, here to see the first officer. I believe the first officer has been warned. Oh, yes, of course. Come on. And the door opens.
I make no sudden movements in case they're surprised to see weird uniformed people with Kearney.
They kind of look you up and down, but they don't react. They may have been warned, you're not sure. And Kearney leads the way. He starts walking.
Follow.
Sorry, what was that?
That was follow.
Okay.
Yeah.
You get close to the Astrometrics, and you start hearing raised voices. Do you charge forward, or do you hold back? And
Is it sounding? I'll pause a moment just to see if I can catch. If not the words, then there's argument and then there's killing raised voices.
Are there? So at first glance, it just appears to be argument. But what I'm going to want from you is a. What would it be? Let's go with insight and
Security.
security. Yes.
1 success.
Okay. It's quite hard to get most of it, but you do catch snippets. You hear mostly the end of it. Takahashi saying, "But it doesn't work yet. We can't possibly use it." And then another voice, a woman's voice you haven't heard before, saying, I don't care if it works. You're here to follow my orders. I know what you've been doing. Now, you will use the device as directed." "Yes, sir," says Takahashi.
Hanson, they appear to have some sort of device, if non-specific, which Mallory, assuming it's Mallory, seems intent on forcing Takahashi to utilize. Do whatever you can to gather any information on what this device may be.
Yes, Captain.
I'm not saying in the next conversation, but bear that in mind.
Yes, Captain.
We shall proceed. Unless Kearney is like, hell nah.
No, Kearney doesn't seem to have heard and didn't overhear your conversation with Casey. If anything, it seemed like he wanted to stop because he didn't want to barge in on an argument.
Yeah. We'll do the polite lurking thing.
Yeah. And so you enter Astrometric. It's not a very large room. It's maybe 5 meters by 5 meters, and in the middle is what looks like a large computer. Lots of monitors around the walls, and in there is Takahashi standing there, finishing off saying something to a woman wearing the blues of this era with red trimming of command. Are these the people you were speaking of, Takahashi? Yes, yes, Captain. They claim to have come from. Well, our scans indicate that they're telling the truth. They came from the 24th century. We appear to be in the 24th century.
That is correct, Captain Mallory.
You're not human. So
No, I'm not.
Starfleet has been taking in aliens for a while, I take it?
Starfleet is now the Starfleet of the United Federation of Planets, a alliance with Earth and humanity playing a major central part. It was formed in the aftermath of the coalition that came together for the Battle of Charon, which ended the Earth-Romulan War in approximately 3 years' time.
Well, in that case, this makes it somewhat easier. I was worried that you would outrank me. However, you're not part of United Earth Defences, therefore I am the ranking officer still here.
As you say, although I'm not sure that there'd be any precedent to confirm that, but all various naval forces and exploratory forces were amalgamated, streamlined together for the formation of the UFP Starfleet.
As you say. Now, I'm very grateful for you being here. You give us an opportunity to exit this wormhole. Is there something you wish to do aside from shuttle us all off?
For preference, transport you all off. I'm sure that if my engineers had a chance to take a look at the systems, we could make some improvements to be able to make that possible.
Well, can't say I like it, but if you're from the 24th century, I don't doubt you have good systems able to do that. Okay.
I'm assuming Dr. Takahashi Mr. Takahashi has informed you of the full details.
Yes.
You're aware of the ship at the heart of the wormhole.
Yes.
You're aware we wish to move you to my ship.
And then use my ship to blow it up.
Yes, which should end the phenomenon.
Much as I don't like it, your ship probably has better shields than this one. If we have to ride out a detonation from a warp core, I'd rather be aboard your ship.
As would I. And I'm sorry to say that, both from our historical records and from our assessment of the wormhole, there is no opportunity for you or your crew to return to the 22nd century. That mouth of that phenomenon has shut.
Okay. That has been explained to me, yes, and I don't like it, but I don't seem to have a choice, do I?
No, the long-term implications can be planned, but it's something that you and your people should be aware of.
Now, while I don't consider you part of our Starfleet, what is your opinion on everything that has been going on here?
My opinion on everything here is that you've had 6 years of hell.
2.
My apologies. Time dilations. 2 years of hell still will be quite sufficient hell for any crew.
Kearney whispers to you, I had the 6 years.
The fact that the crew is factionalized sounds regrettable, and that is something which I hope could be
Yes, I've
resolved
been
in a-
trying to bring the engineering crew in line for nearly 2 years now. Since the incident when Captain Suarez died, it's been hell. Just disobedience after disobedience, and I have had to do what I must.
I understand, obviously, the responsibilities and burdens of command, especially under this sort of a tense situation. However, our conversations as we met engineering on our way in, or at least some, obviously not Chief Phillips, seems that they would be amenable to extraction. If your people and the science people are amenable to extraction, we can get you all off the ship.
Yes, of course, but first we have to deal with the chief engineer and the fact that they may not be the chief engineer at all. And even if they are, they were the first to call for mutiny once Suarez died. That situation has to be dealt with now.
Obviously, everything must be done that can be done to identify this unknown life form. However, one, so long as everyone is contained, then I see no reason why, under the worst case scenario, we cannot continue this search and examination of the crew on a secure location on board the Iskandar. And also, if possible, if Chief Phillips is under suspicion, then my science officer can no doubt take a look at her and see if our tricorders and our technology can determine anything to see if she is indeed who she says she is.
No,
if she is...
We have... Takahashi here believes that they figured out a method by which they can detect who it is. So we're going to do that, well, within the hour, I suppose. It'll no doubt give us everything we need to resolve this situation.
I very much hope that Ensign Casey could be part of this. We must make absolutely sure, and besides, we may learn more about this life form.
When you say we, what do you mean? We have to make sure that everything is as it should be.
My
You're not part of this crew.
My interest is in saving the crew's lives and sparing as many as possible.
So is mine.
In which case...
And I don't trust you.
Then I understand that. However, Mr. Takahashi, I'm sure, knows his duties and his expertise, and recommendations from Mr. Casey would still have to go through Mr. Takahashi's expertise. If he starts trying to... If he's saying things that Mr. Takahashi doesn't understand and claims that it is advanced science, then that's not helping Mr. Takahashi. If he points out things that Mr. Takahashi might not have thought of, then I'm sure Mr. Takahashi is capable of processing it for himself.
Give me a command and reason.
I'm going to spend a momentum on this.
Sure.
So that could be one extra dice? Yep.
Yes. You're down to 2 momentum.
That is 2 successes. Would this count as diplomacy focus? I mean, diplomacy sounds such a broad thing in practice.
Yes, let's go with diplomacy.
Okay, so then that counts as an extra success if it's a focus.
3 successes.
3 successes.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, if Casey promises not to... Well, if you order Casey not to confuse our science officer here, I suppose he could assist.
As you say, Ensign. I'm sure that you... that's true. Yeah, as you said, Ensign, I'm sure that you can just lend a fresh pair of 24th century eyes.
Yes, Captain. I'll be more than happy to help Mr. Takahashi.
Jumping back to Talandra.
Yes.
When you left the bridge, where did you aim to go?
To science, where I'm going to meet with Lieutenant Strange.
Okay. So the scene opens up in the science division. There's all sorts of strange bleeping equipment all around. It probably makes widdly-wee noises and all sorts. Is there... I'll in fact let you describe the scene as you see fit.
Well, what I need is Ensign Casey's the research he started doing on the moss.
Sure, that exists in the computer's database. That's part of the medical system that you can access throughout the ship.
No, science.
That is part of... Yeah, you have access to the data.
Okay, no, very important. If it's on some sort of medical database, it is being downloaded and erased from the medical database.
Okay. Sure. Okay.
Do you understand why?
I think I do, yeah.
Because the MH is compromised.
Yeah.
So Talandra is going to be doing everything to keep her notes away from the medical database.
So you can download them to a pad, and then as you need them, upload them to a secure system. Lieutenant Strange is in the science lab with you.
Right. Strange.
Commander?
Fascinating. The ensign may be one of the finest minds of his generation. How is the How is Ensign Kira?
We got her teleported down to Central Engineering, so I don't know yet.
Very well. Lieutenant, what do you know about magnetic containment fields?
I know a reasonable amount about magnetic containment fields. There are some in the warp core, and presumably that's what you're using down in medical for containing this. Well, I say containing, presumably not containing it anymore.
I have established a security force field as much as I can around the sickbay on Deck 6. Mm-hmm. However, as this Moss has access to the air filtration systems, there is only so much a security force field can filter.
Actually, keep out. Right. Did
However,
Casey come up with anything by way of things the Moss doesn't like? You know, how does it respond to phasers? How does it respond to electricity? How does it respond to heat? Cold?
That, Lieutenant, is the question.
What did Casey do? Casey.
You muted.
Sorry. Casey spent a deal of time just analysing the moss and kind of the more ambient conditions that it thrived in, that it struggled in. His was very focused on the atmosphere that the moss needed and would struggle within.
So what you're saying is the greatest mind of our generation failed us in this particular...
No, I would like to know what he figured out. I'd like to know how this moss thrives.
I don't do the opposite of that thing.
Okay. What I'm going to ask
It's almost like he and I work in sync together quite well, and have been wasted this entire game.
What I would like is Casey to give me a retroactive reason science check. You can, if you would like, use some of the momentum.
I will use the momentum.
You currently have 3.
I'm using 1 to bring it up to 2 successes. And I have an ability called Testing a Theory, which gives me, I think, an additional success on...
If the roll is lower than... If any of your rolls are lower than the relevant discipline that you used for the thing, then that dice then counts as 2 successes.
So that would be from just the roll... Oh, wait, no. Does that include the momentum dice?
Yeah, that applies to any of the dice that you rolled.
4 successes.
So would you like to use...
Talandra stands by what she says.
Would you like to use any of those dice to ask any further questions? Any of that momentum to, for example, ask further questions, or...
It's difficult. I'm going back in time with this one. The manic. What is the most useful... What conditions does the moss most thrive in? What does it require?
Okay, the answer to that is small amounts of electrical current and warmth. And meowing.
Sorry, I thought I was muted.
Also, this is great. I assumed so, and have been planning my notes accordingly.
My dice.
Excellent. What else would be good?
What?
I'll allow input. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I thought we were allowed to.
No, I am genuinely looking for input. I'm trying to think of what else I could ask.
I have one. Why not on what kills the moss?
No, I want to do it. I want to do the opposite. I really like this kind of synchronized thing.
Also, because I guess we are both the science people.
Yes.
That's a good point.
I mean, I've been assuming so far that this is a carbon-based life form. Is that correct?
From the detection, yes, this is a carbon-based life form. You are down to 2 momentum.
No, that wasn't my question. I'm saying I've been assuming it because that's what most creatures in Star Trek are, and I assumed you'd have said if it had come up as something odd.
Oh, okay, that's fair. Yeah.
In which case... I would like to know how it respirates.
From Casey's studies, you can see that it doesn't respirate in its natural state. It seems to take in energy from either organisms in the surrounding area, as well as their nutrients. However, some of the moss that Casey gathered was attached to things like other life forms, such as small bits of alien grass and stuff like that. And you can see that it has bonded to these things and is using their respiratory systems to attain additional nutrients that it wouldn't otherwise get, or wouldn't as easily get otherwise.
Casey, do you have any more questions?
No, I think I only got 2 questions, didn't I?
You can use more momentum. That was you were up to 4. Now you're down to 2 again.
What would be? I imagine that since we're dealing with something of a breakout, would there be any notes that indicate an initial failure to contain, and it's a strange one to ask. Has there been a previous attempt by Casey to contain it which has failed? And so he's essentially set it up in something else and not been able to go back to it to see if that one's worked.
Because he'll have had those notes.
Yes, the first attempt to contain it was a low-level force field, which, if anything, the moss seemed to feed on. It was a very low-level force field. The moss seemed to take the energy from the force field and started to grow towards the force field emitters, like a plant turning towards the sun in a dark room.
Cool. That will feature in Casey's notes. And
Talandra is poring over very complicated-looking scientific notes that are probably a little
verbose.
Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to go to a break. And I'm sure you can take that time to think about exactly what you want to do, and we will be right back. See you soon. Hello and welcome back to Roll Out. We're playing Star Trek Adventures by Modiphius, and why don't you tell us what is happening, Lieutenant Commander Talandra?
Strange, I need you to grab the nearest engineering crew, take a spare shuttle impulse generator, and sufficient environmental protection, and return to the panels outside of sickbay.
Okay, do you have any idea what sufficient is? Like, are we going to need full vacuum seal here, or will just, like, rebreathers be enough?
Trying to think of... This is a thing I can't sufficiently technobabble because I don't know. I believe grade 3 protection will be enough. Ensure that you have an accurate seal between you and the outside. However, I do not believe this moss will be able to immediately breach the suits. Do not allow it to come into contact with your skin, and ensure your rebreathers are constantly cleaned.
Right, so plenty of spare filters as it is then.
Let me know when you are in place.
Will do. And Strange will now run off to go grab some poor innocent red shirts to be eaten alive by moss.
Okay.
And in the meantime, what Talandra is going to do is get up Casey's actual, like, in-depth genetic scan of the moss, which, will have been sort of standard, tucked away in the files, and she is going to begin running it through systems and, if necessary, kind of synthesizing an antifungal.
Okay. I'm going to need a science and reason check with that. Difficulty 1. You have 1 momentum if you would like to use it at any point.
Remind me what I can do with momentum.
Gwen.
The momentum, you can buy extra dice for rolls. You can use it afterwards to gain an advantage, which can include things like asking extra questions if you do investigate the thing kind of tasks. That's mostly it. Now we have main things that you can do with momentum.
Yeah,
because you're not going to try to make things more difficult for anybody else in this situation, which is the other thing that you can spend momentum on.
And that's taking my talent into account, is that? Since I assume this task is extended.
I'm not sure. What are you asking? I'm sorry.
The talent that we spoke of.
Yes.
Not 5 minutes ago.
Yes, sorry. That one comes into effect when you get a success and you start rolling the challenge dice, I believe.
Yes.
And any effects you get, which is you get an effect for every 5 or 6 you roll, they take off some of the resistance to the task. And resistance
They ignore some of the resistance, it doesn't
Yeah.
actually take it off.
So,
Yes.
reason, you say.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yes. Or I have to roll 2, don't I?
Yeah.
2 successes.
2 successes, wonderful. So you have you gain an extra momentum, and you roll a number of challenge dice equal to Gwen.
Equal to 2 plus the discipline that you used for the roll.
So science
in the first place. So in this case, 2 plus your science.
So I'm rolling that many d20s.
D6s.
D6s.
Oh, right.
For every 1 you get 1 success, 1 breakthrough. Sorry. For every 2 roll, you get 2 breakthroughs, and then for every 5 and 6, you get another breakthrough plus an effect.
Nope,
which
that's work. That's how much work you get. Breakthroughs are like injuries.
I'm so confused. Okay.
So am I looking to roll high or low?
Move, because the it's all over the shop. So a 1 is equal to 1, a 2 is equal to 2, 3s and 4s are 0, and 5s and 6s are 1 plus effect.
Then what I'll do is I'll just read you out the numbers I get, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, that's what happened last time.
Very well. 2.
That's 2 successes.
6.
Success.
That is
effect.
3 plus an effect.
5.
So that is
Another plus an effect.
Yep.
3.
Nothing.
Nothing from that.
2.
So that's 6 work.
2.
That is now 8 work.
1.
9. So 9 work
9
and
work.
2 effects.
And
Is that good?
That is very good.
the effects reduce the resistance, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So
The-
what's the work target?
16.
Right. So 16 work was the target.
Yep. So taking off using the effects to reduce the resistance, which is 3, it goes down to 1, and what you basically so you were investigating genetic markers of this moss. You find out you pretty much find a moss that's very, very similar on a similar planet back in Federation space, giving you a good idea of the kinds of things that it might be the kinds of limits to cold and heat that it might be vulnerable to, that kind of thing. The fact that it was on a similar planet to the one this moss was found in doubles up that knowledge. You've done a large chunk of the work, mechanically speaking, but...
So the other bits of useful numbers that are relevant to how quickly this gets resolved, what's the magnitude of the extended task, which is a general how difficult it is, similar to the work. And that's generally between 1 and 5, because that then tells you the number of breakthroughs you need to get, which is the number
how do you get a breakthrough?
to do to the problem. You get a breakthrough by either generating more work when the work track has been reduced to 0, generating 5 or more work in one go. That's basically it, unless there's relevant talents that do other things.
I'm going to say now, this is really complex. I'm scared, but it's fine. So I'm going to say that there's 3.
This is what
there's 3. What's this called? 3. What is required?
Breakthroughs. So
3 breakthroughs are required, and you've got 1 by getting over 5 work this time.
Yep.
Okay.
So we are effectively a third of the way through the problem. The other thing that happens by way of numbers now, one last thing before to do with numbers, because we've not finished the task yet, what now happens is the base difficulty of the tasks is reduced by 1 per breakthrough achieved from what's just happened.
It was set at 1.
Okay, if the base difficulty is reduced to... No, reducing it to 0 is fine. If it gets reduced any further, then we start adding challenge dice to the work to generate more work when we do stuff later.
Emily, I'm so glad you're here.
Crib sheets. I love crib sheets. But yeah, so the base difficulty is now 0, but you can increase that for whatever reason.
Okay.
Say the moss starts eating the ensign's face.
This moss is going to be eventually
of the
defeated by Emily's grasp of numbers and my ability to look ponderously at my iPad. Star Trek.
And the ensign being one of the brightest minds of his generation.
Yes. I'm going to say that if/when I run Iskander in the future, it's going to require Emily to be there, because otherwise it won't work. Hopefully I'll figure stuff out by then. But
we'll all get crib sheets for Christmas.
We'll all read them.
Yes, you have my crib sheets. You all have my crib sheets.
So
crib sheets are for squares.
Lieutenant Strange goes and there's multiple close-up shots of clips being fastened, a helmet being put on, all various kinds of things like that. And
gloves.
Yes.
No, I'm not going to go and actually finish out this with the actual stuff.
No, please don't take the time. And the two little
my
arm lights
stuff is only
that
there.
you can beam around and look for things with.
Like you can, because we're about to go back to the others.
But I am the others.
Oh yeah.
I'm also the business rep for my main character.
Speaking of, you're working in engineering. You think that you've got a pretty good handle on the...
When you say you, is this Gwen?
Yes, this is Gwen. You think you've got a pretty good handle on having repaired the transporter. The transporter is now at a good place. You think that you might be able to start beaming people over, but you think you can adjust the transporters knowing 24th century technology to do a bit better. What's his name? Mendela is there, and for the most part is pretty much astounded by the work you're doing. This isn't... The speed you're working at, where did you learn all this?
Starfleet Academy.
Well, that's still round then, I suppose. I don't suppose after this...
Starfleet's still around, and...
Don't suppose after this you could put in a good word for me with Starfleet and maybe...
Put you back through the Academy and bring you back up to speed?
Pretty much, yeah.
Could do.
It's the deal.
Gwen reaches him
Cool.
halfway underneath the transporter and shakes his hand.
Yeah. The Mendela says, I'm sorry, I just can't let countless species in both universes die from my mistake. I'm sorry. As your hand is enveloped. And then we go back to Athan and Casey.
Yeah, hi, what's up? How's it going?
It's fine.
Piss.
I said, please be the normal ones, please.
So, how's Commander Crazy Face?
She left you in Astrometrics to start sorting out the tribunal, which was going to happen in the computer core in B-Deck. Most of the crew you can hear occasionally going past you. If you're having a chat with Casey and Lieutenant Kearney at this time, you can hear people going past, being asked for weapons, and then going past the Astrometrics section. And it sounds like quite a few people. Yeah.
I would be checking in about 15 minutes after my meeting with Mallory, with both Anderson and Exo, Philandra, because I promised to confirm that I wouldn't be dead.
Sure.
Thank God. Yeah.
Give me a second. I'm going to send you a quick message to Emily.
Mm-hmm. I can talk to Philandra in the meantime.
That's true. You can do that.
Unless you don't want the.
How does this match up timing-wise? Is she still synthesizing?
Yeah, if we say that Philandra is currently working on the genetic algorithm.
She was sciencing for X period of time.
Yeah.
So.
Science. Athan to Iskander.
Talandra here, go ahead.
It's good to hear your voice, Exo. I've got mostly good news. It seems Commander Mallory is amenable to extracting every member of the crew, nearly every member of the crew, that she's not getting devolved into petty factionalization. The only two issues remain: that she seems intent on holding this tribunal for the chief engineer, and she seems to be looking for any excuse to punish her, be that whether or not she is this alien who's been attacking the crew, or is simply, in her eyes, a mutineer. But I'm hoping that we can either find a way to identify this alien, and I can talk her down from throwing someone out of an airlock when we have alternatives.
Indeed, Captain.
But I don't think that it's going to get immediately violent. I hope.
That is gratifying. I shall ensure that the bridge is kept well informed.
Yes. What's the status over there?
Mixed.
You found the problems with the ventilation systems?
I believe so, Captain.
Very well, Exo. I'll leave you to it.
It may be the case, Captain, that your return to the ship might have to be temporarily delayed.
Go on,
potentially
Exo.
Indefinitely.
Explain, Exo.
There will be two outcomes to this situation as I perceive it, Captain. One, that Lieutenant Strange and I will succeed in the task that we have set before us, thereby purging the ship of any potential threats and allowing you to safely return to us. Or the ship will be overrun by flesh-eating moss.
The moss.
Quite so, Captain. It seems that the force fields put in place in medical were not enough to contain it. It is currently attempting to breach our air filtration system.
Worst case scenario, extracting the crew of the Iskander to the Atlantis and blowing up the Iskander. What's your take on that?
I currently do not believe evacuation is necessary, Captain.
Good.
However, should the Moss breach containment on Deck 6, or should the Moss reach the neural gel packs, then the computing system will become inoperable. Currently, I do not believe that is the Moss's intention. The air filtration system is at least possible to isolate. We have enough oxygen in the air to last us several hours without the air filtration system being online. However, should that become necessary, I will consider evacuation, Captain.
Of course, so. Worst case scenario only, but I'll let Anderson know to at least consider the possibility that she may have to beam you out.
I'm sure that the commander will have many choice words to say about the state of her ship.
Yes, that does sound like Anderson. Keep me informed, Exo, and I'll keep you informed. Good luck.
And
Fun
you.
out. I'm gonna hail. Am I okay to hail Anderson? Athan to Anderson.
Anderson here, go ahead.
Well, it's been 30 minutes and I'm not dead. It seems as if Mallory's still
Not being
intent
dead
on
is good.
going ahead with this tribunal, but she seems amenable to us evacuating all of the crew. Really, it's the fate of Chief Phillips and trying to find this alien life form that remains as the issues. What's your situation you're in?
Well, the transporter's looking like it'll be up and running, but if I've got a bit more time now, I can go and make some improvements to it.
Anything you can do to make this go more smoothly, and it doesn't seem like we're going to hopefully not need a emergency evacuation. But once this tribunal is over, I'm hoping that we'll either have found the entity or found a means of finding the entity, and again, if not, we'll just extract it to the Iskander with everyone else and try to find it there.
I'll work out from there.
Yes. So keep me posted, I'll keep you posted, Anderson.
Okay.
Good luck. Athan out. As I've told the alien my plans. Ensign, how are you doing?
I'm fine, Captain. Did I hear that correctly?
It sounds as if the Moss has breached the containment fields. Yes. Talandra, the commander, is going to be able to deal with this situation.
I have every faith in Talandra, but I should have been more cautious.
You followed all standard protocols. The idea that Moss, even carnivorous Moss, has managed to breach a force field is not the sort of thing that anyone could reasonably anticipate.
But I'm not just anyone.
You're a Starfleet officer following Starfleet protocols, Ensign. You followed the protocols. That should have been enough.
Yes, Captain.
This is the business we are in. There are always variables we cannot account for. We can't beat ourselves up for not foreseeing these problems. Not if we follow our training, do the best we can, and then if something uncertain comes, if we're thrown a curveball, then we have to roll with it.
Curveball, Captain.
If being blindsided by something.
I see.
You should really know your own sports.
No, you are quite right. Commander Talandra is the best mind to be at this job at this moment in time.
With you here with me, yes, she is. But it's fine, Ensign. None of this was what we planned for, but it's what we're going to deal with. That's the Starfleet way.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to return the scene back to the USS Wholesome, and what are Talandra and Strange doing?
Well, Strange is probably now on deck 6, suited and booted, and with his red shirts ready to go.
Okay. And Talandra?
How goes the synthesis of the antifungal?
Could you give me a I'm going to say medicine and reason.
Very reasonable. Oh,
Difficulty 1.
speaking of which, the thing I failed to mention before, which I assumed was implied, but I realise isn't, and that's not cool, which makes sense since it's an extended role, is that this is an antifungal that I intend to pass through the system to kill the moss.
Yeah.
I do also intend for it to be non-lethal to humans and the humanoid life forms that occupy a Starfleet vessel. Like, I should make that. I want to make that really abundantly clear. I know you're not that sort of GM, but just something tells me one day you might be. You might go,
Yeah, you'd have been told. Everyone's dead, Talandra. It's your fault.
The person from Myconia 7, the fungal people, one of them dies. No.
So yes, rolling.
Actually, it'll be difficulty 0. I'm going to count it among the successes you had before. Reduce that.
So I'm trying to roll medicine.
Medicine, reason.
Is that? Do you just add those two together and you have to roll below that?
Below them, yeah.
Okay.
I think it's the same or below.
Oh, yeah. That is 2 successes.
Oofed. Okay.
My reason's really good, so it wasn't that great.
You basically, by the end of this scene, you can have synthesized this antifungal. I'll let you know when it happens. Strange is standing by the door to the filtration system room. What are you doing, Strange?
The door's not open yet, is it?
No.
So I think at this point we'll be going into the air filtration system.
Okay.
Very, very cautiously.
As the door opens, you can see within the object has grown. It is now approximately a meter across, coming out of the system itself, about half a meter, and tendrils are spreading along the floor and the wall, and up onto the ceiling as well. Tendrils of moss.
Strange to Commander Talandra.
Talandra, here, go ahead.
How are we on working out a way of getting rid of this stuff? Because it's expanded quite rapidly since we last looked at it.
Define rapidly, Lieutenant.
Well, before it was just stuck in 1 or 2 of the fans. Now it's taking up most of the room.
Fascinating. Its development is certainly linked to the electromagnetic impulses of the ship.
Can it not be anytime soon?
Is it safe for you to take tricorder readings?
We'll see if it responds to electromagnetic, then it might start trying to tricorder, but we'll see how we go.
I presume you have remained beside the door where the panels are located.
Of course, I'm not going near this stuff unless I have to.
In which case... Computer. Establish security force field in air filtration room Alpha B. Security level 8.
In front of Strange, the field just appears.
This moss has shown its ability to break through force fields. That should hold it for now.
Good. Let's see how long that lasts.
However, if you are able to get readings, I'm sure Ensign Casey will appreciate them.
I'll see what I can get.
You get up... No, sorry, go on. Okay. You get out... tricorder, and you start scanning. Who is with you? How many people are with you?
I've probably just got 2 with me for now.
One of them asks what they should be doing. They actually have a voice, which either means they're doomed or they're being paid more.
Let's see. What's going to be the best thing? See if you can work out if this moss has got anywhere else. I mean, we can see that it's here, but how far through the ship has it spread? We'll have a look on the panels and see if there's any blockages in any of the ventilation systems and things like that.
They go up to one of the panels and they start typing stuff in while you're looking at the mast, scan it, all that kind of thing. Can I have science reason from you?
You can. Science reason. That is 1 success.
So you can tell that not only did, like, before it had kind of tendrils that were attached to the panel on the side, but you can now with your scan you can tell that the moss is actually interacting with the ship's the moss is kind of growing into the data ports and the various parts, the various isolinear chips of the ship, and you can in fact tell that some of the spores from this moss seems to... You can scan it in a couple of places nearby. It seems to have travelled from biomimetic gel pack to biomimetic gel pack through the ship. It hasn't travelled far, but there are a couple of packs in your current vicinity that you are detecting some of it in.
Right.
And behind you... Well, it's not so much behind you as you hear a crash next to you as the ensign you sent to investigate, scan throughout the ship, slams into the wall. Turning around, you see the EMH there, because if I recall, you said that there are holographic projectors throughout the ship.
We did. We did say that.
And
we did, if it's our chief medical officer.
The hologram disappears, and Talandra, an emergency medical hologram attempts to grab your arm.
What do you expect me to do about that?
I don't know. Like, if you don't do anything, it will, like, the arm that you're trying to tap stuff away at the panel with, it will pull it away from the...
She's obviously not going to let it do that.
Okay. Would you like to give me fitness and security?
What do focuses do in this situation again?
They will allow you to get 2 successes on anything that you have... if you get less than the attribute, you get 2 successes. Less than the discipline. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
2 successes.
How much momentum do we have?
You currently have 3.
Can I use a momentum?
Absolutely. You're going to require 2 successes for this.
I was actually asking the others. Can I use momentum?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I know that by the
No.
system of the game I'm allowed to. I just never feel comfortable using communal points without checking with other people.
Yeah.
So it's not suffer embarrassing AMH fate.
Yeah, that's for the ensign to do. Not that ensign, but sure. Maybe it's a fate of all ensigns. Maybe this AMH just hates ensigns.
How could you hate ensigns?
I don't know.
Gosh.
Evil EMH.
Well, I didn't actually think it was possible to happen, so I'm quite excited by the situation that's happened. Did you say I needed 2 successes?
Yeah.
3 successes.
Boom!
I got a 1, which is sufficiently beneath my security.
Well, a 1 is automatically 2 successes, regardless.
So do you get 3 on a critical... Let's say
You have 4 successes.
And since I have a focus in hand-to-hand, do you proper Vulcan...
I don't know if you get...
I'm going to say yes until we can look at it later.
I got a crit! Don't take it away from me. Yay,
I think that's the reason it's a crit.
The reason why my face didn't light up was because I rolled a 1 and I went, oh no, wait.
Oh wait, no, it's not like any other system.
This game makes no sense.
System.
Okay.
So yes.
You pull it away and the EMH looks at you. Talandra. Put me back on the planet. Do not destroy me.
Computer deactivate emergency medical hologram.
It flickers for a few seconds and then reforms. What is that? What?
She's continuing her work.
It will again try and force you away from the thing. It is at the very least going to try and interfere with your work currently.
Computer deactivate emergency medical hologram.
Same effect. Flickers.
Talandra is going to attempt to override the hologram using a code of some description.
Sure.
She's his officer.
As you try and do this, a security officer runs up to the hologram, who just the EMH steps back and pushes the security officer, who flies through the air, hitting a bulkhead.
It's not she's still going to.
No. I'm. This is entirely just thematics.
Her intention is to shut off all holographic emitters on the ship.
Okay. Can I have engineering and?
She's not trying to hack a system. She's just trying to use her.
Oh, true. Yeah.
Command protocols. If it doesn't work, she can't change it.
That's true. You.
Well, why have a command skill at all?
You state to the computer to turn off all holographic systems on the ship, giving your
command override Talandra Gamma 765.
The hologram flickers a few times like before, but then disappears. You just get on with your stuff. Cool. Can I have the continuation of your science and reason check from before? Gwen, I'm going to need your help again.
I've got the numbers ready to go.
2 successes.
2 successes.
Yes, I'm still trying to roll under my combined science and reason. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Then yeah.
Cool. I believe the base difficulty got reduced to 0, so that's. I'll shove you onto the momentum pile.
Yep.
Right. So it's now rolling 2 plus discipline challenge dice again.
So, what's your science? So 2 plus your science. Roll them any challenge dice. Talandra.
Oh, sorry.
Roll a bunch of d6s.
2 plus my science.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Plus my science, or plus my science and my reason?
Just science.
Just plus your science.
Okay. 1 5 1 5.
Okay, so
I think it's a code.
5 1 5. So that is 4 work plus 2 effect. So you can take off 2 off the resistance.
Okay. You are up to 11 work done.
So that's 3. So no more breakthroughs on this because we haven't hit any of the conditions for it.
Sure.
But yeah.
That's fine.
You're still remembering my focus.
I've added your talent, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one that affects this kind of things. Yeah, we've accounted for that as we crunch numbers.
Fine.
And I'm assuming just with the same calm demeanour as before the EMH started up, you continue to analyse.
Is she expected to flap?
No. I'm
This
just
is what makes her snap.
I'm explaining as I actually really like that mental image. Just the image disappears and you just turn back to the thing, while people behind you deal with the security person who
thrown against bulkheads and things like that. Well, so I was just like
she's not a sociopath. If medical does not approach,
they are.
If there wasn't anyone nearby, she will say medical to science. That's.
Yeah. But somebody is dealing with the guy who got thrown against the bulkhead, so you just went.
Okay. Athan and Casey. The Tribunal. Where are we? The Tribunal will begin as soon as I found the piece of paper. There we go. So, Mallory. You enter the computer core, in which there is standing to.
Wait, quick question,
Yeah.
quick thing, Stoke. Before we go in, I want to ask Lieutenant Kearney what the chain of command is and who is second officer. Who has seniority after Mallory?
The chief engineer.
And after them?
Oh God. Hang on.
Him or Parrish are the only... guess it could be Takahashi. It's rarely a chief medical officer.
That would be... That would be the Chief Science Officer, Takahashi, yeah.
Okay, no, that's what it is. Just good to know.
The computer core sits in the middle of this room, giving off a constant slight hum with small, basically flickering dots appearing all over it at various times. The rest of the room is wide and open, and large fans are in all the walls, and you can, when you step into the room, you can feel a certain amount of heat coming from the computer core. The chief engineer, when you entered, stands in manacles, basically like a solid lump of metal with two arm things, flanked by Mallory and Takahashi, but behind them stand two security officers. The rest of the crew that seem to have come in are a fair amount of engineers, maybe 12 engineers, as well as what seems like most of the remaining command crew, another 10 of them. They stand around the sides of the room and almost spill into the corridors. Everybody seems quite uneasy, kind of iffy at the situation. They're moving from foot to foot, searching around the room, looking at the faces of everybody in here. Is there anything you wish to do before today's entertainment kicks off?
Get front row seats.
Okay.
Also, I'm going to ask Casey to just run some discreet scans.
Yep.
Discreet. Do it from the back of the crowd.
Yeah, Casey will remain towards the back of the room in that case, and just do scans. Look like, first of all, a broad scan of the room, and then narrowing it down throughout the trial to sectors, individuals.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Mallory steps forward. 2 years ago, we underwent something that I don't think anybody here wished to go through. There was a split in this crew. A split that I did not want to see happen, and I don't think anybody at all here did. We fractured. I understand the engineers' loyalty to their chief. I understand those in the science division who felt separated from the rest of us and did not see fit to join a side. But you must understand that I have to do my duty. I have to make sure that this crew follows the same tenets, the same main mandates that Captain Suarez stood for, gave an oath to, that we all gave an oath to, that kept us alive during the war. Now, I know a great number of you do not like me. I don't ask you to like me. I know that I have done things you've liked. I admit that I have killed people on this crew, but it was the only way to be sure we were not infiltrated. Humanity must be set aside during times of interstellar war to safeguard the humanity of the rest of us. Kindness and good feelings do not win wars, and I did what I needed to protect our crew, even from itself. And that is why I am here today. I am the ranking officer on this ship. And Chief Engineer Phillips here committed mutiny. She stood against me and took a number of you with her. Now I am willing to forgive the rest of you. I know I have followed superior officers before when they have done things that I didn't like, or they have bent the chain of command. But I believe in all of you. I believe in all of you to do the right thing. I would like to call the first witness, Lieutenant Verga, one of the science officers in here steps forward. Lieutenant Verga, Takahashi here tells me that you have something you would like to say as to Philip's character. Yes. 2 years ago, when this all happened, when we believed an alien to be among us, I was in the sensor monitoring station on G-Deck. Phillips had reason to believe that one of us was infected or had been taken over. He knew some of us were not, and he gathered as many of us as he could to exit that deck, but he sealed all the other exits. He vented everything into space. He knew that the alien was moving from person to person, taking them over. He took those of us. She took those of us she knew to still be loyal out of that section, but she killed everyone. There were 8 people still in there who weren't the alien. She knew that only one of them was the alien. Something could have been done. They could have been quarantined, but she vented them all. They were friends of mine. They were friends of hers. And this lieutenant looks over at Phillips at this point. In my dreams, I still see them through the porthole, gasping for air. I can still hear their cries muffled through the door as they suffocate. I can still... Don't pretend you don't know the invader. Don't pretend that you don't understand. The invader was on G-Deck. I did what I had to do to protect everyone. I lost two of my friends that day. The crowd erupts in jeers and cheering. It lasts for a few seconds before Mallory takes her phaser and just bangs the hilt on a railing, making loud enough noise that people start to quieten down. Thank you, Lieutenant. Now, we know that we have guests here. I've explained to all of you their significance here. We will soon be going home. But Ensign Casey, motioning towards the ensign, has provided Takahashi as well as the Doctor with a wide variety of knowledge from the 24th century. We think that we've devised a way to distinguish the alien from a human, and we will be doing that now. I think this is the best way to determine what happened. If it is indeed the chief engineer here, and if on that day the chief engineer killed so many crew just to suggest that they were still human, then we will deal with that. Of course I'm still human. Captain, can I not say something? And Mallory nods, but motions Takahashi forward. And Takahashi takes out a scanner, and you can see that there are a few wires that have that don't look standard issue. They look like they've been applied to the side, like a small metallic box, as well as some wires coming off of it, and a little antenna radio bit.
I'm going to be giving Casey looks at this of the what the hell are they doing? Secret Starfleet code.
Casey, can you give me science reason? As Phillips says, I know all of you. I've seen all of you.
Do we have any momentum right now?
You have 6 momentum.
Do it.
I'm gonna. How many can you use at any given time?
You're muted.
You can buy up to 3
No,
extra dice.
Yeah, so Emily was muted.
Yeah, you can buy up to 3 extra dice. If you're buying it via momentum, the first one costs 1, the second one costs 2, the third one costs 3. You can also buy some by adding to the threat pool, in which case, again, the first one you buy by a threat, 1 threat, 2 threat for the second one.
Okay.
But you cannot have more than 3 extra, no matter how you get them.
I'm gonna buy 2 extra dice, both from momentum.
Okay.
We'll see how this goes. No.
How many 20s? Please tell me you didn't roll 4 20s.
No 20s, but no successes.
Please tell me you've got the cautious talent in science.
I don't think he does.
No.
I don't think he does.
I guess we just suck it.
Do you have any values that would apply to this
That
situation?
values only apply. Oh, values.
A theory for every situation.
Gwen, is there something that he can do?
Only if he's still got his determination, which I think was used ages ago. I think that was used session 1. So, because there haven't been any situations where Casey's values have been deliberately challenged to then gain more determination, no.
Okay.
But I'm just running through things that can still be done with momentum. In case. I think that's what we're done.
So, Takahashi scans over this person as Phillips starts speaking to everyone. The person here is... What is happening here is not right, and you all know it. I'm not this creature, this alien, this Romulan, this monstrosity, this bioengineered weapon, whatever it is you think it is. I'm the same Phillips you know, the same Phillips you've worked with. Have I ever given you reason? When I vented those people into space, it was because I was thinking of you all. It was because I was thinking about you, Williams. Your husband back home. I know you wanted to see your son again. It was because of you, Alison. You said you wanted to see the sun rise over Texas one more time. You'll get that chance, I'm sure. If we're in the 24th century, I don't know what it'll look like. But if they're going to take us home, I remembered all this. I remember everything. I'm not an alien. Do whatever tests you need to. And Takahashi turns to Mallory and nods. Just
I am watching seriously, trying to get undercurrents, and if it's looking like people are going for pistols, I want to step forward and speak. Just
Takahashi, please act as our next witness. Lieutenant Casey here explained to me the workings of 24th century tricorders. Using such knowledge, I modified this one, using the amount of knowledge we've gained over time as to the nature of this alien. I have been able to determine that Phillips here is indeed not human. Phillips, at this point, just looks perplexed. What do you mean? I'm human, How can I prove this? What are you talking about? You look like you want to do something.
Yeah, I'm gonna step forward. I'd like to say a few words.
You're not even part of this crew.
Consider me perhaps an expert witness on unusual first contact and more alien life forms, I dare say, than anyone in this room has met put together. Needless to say, we are approaching the end of this road, and I don't think anyone in this room wants to see anyone else die because of a mistake in thinking that someone is this life form.
No, of course we don't want anybody to make a mistake. It's why we have this modified scanner.
First, I'd just like to highlight that our tricorders are only so much by way of technology. They are advanced. They are sophisticated. They've been wrong. My Starfleet has been infiltrated in the past by shapeshifters who could look like us, full scans like us. These things can be wrong. And a quick scan when we have alternatives, is no justification to start shooting phasers or throwing people out of airlocks. Remember, we have alternatives. As Captain Mallory has said, we are almost at the end of this journey. Soon, you'll be beamed to my ship. Soon, we will leave this wormhole, and soon, we will go to Earth. So in the meantime, we have a lot of options. First, to be sure of the identity of this alien, to be sure of Chief Phillips's nature. Second, to learn. Remember why you all joined Starfleet? Was it because there was a war? Some of you, sure.
Some of the people actually not.
Sure. Some of you, sure. But when you were growing up, before you joined Starfleet, and for many of you when you joined to be explorers. Sometimes exploring means finding the bad things. But it means we must understand them. Possibly for our own scientific knowledge and curiosity, possibly to make sure something like this never happens again to any other crew, even if Chief Phillips is this entity. If you destroy her now, this could happen again to some other crew at some other time who will not know how to handle it either, and more people will be spaced, more people will be shot. If we keep her alive, we can learn, and we can protect more people from this fate. Besides, wouldn't it be so very easy if Chief Phillips were this alien? Wouldn't you then have to not ask too many questions on how one of you can space 8 people, on how one of you can turn against the crew, can lead others against the crew, wouldn't that make it all so much simpler? But we are Starfleet, and we are not here for simple answers. Phillips killed 8 people, to be sure. Captain Mallory has killed people, trying to be sure. We don't have to do that. We have options. No one else today has to die just so we're sure. Not right here, not right now. You say humanity has been suspended in times of war. We are not at war. This is the 24th century. There is no Romulan ship. You say that you took an oath. You took an oath to your crew. And that means more than survival at any cost. That means that you are Starfleet, and that means that you stand for something, and that means that you stand for each other in moments of hardship and moments of doubt. And if there is a shred of doubt in anyone's minds of the nature of Chief Phillips, if there is a shred of doubt in anyone's minds that they think that we cannot risk learning more, that we have to learn more. If there is a shred of doubt with anyone, we have options. And you cannot fall to this. You cannot fall to necessity. We are better than that. We have options, and you have taken an oath to stand by each other. And now, not in times of war. That is not when you abandon these oaths. In times of war is when you stand by them more, because that is when you need them. In times of hardship is when you need them. It is easy to keep them when it is easy, when life is easy. We have options. If you doubt this, if you doubt Takahashi's judgment, you should not act. We have options. I lost that halfway through.
So, your attempt to... I am going to require a roll from this.
Yep, I am going to...
So, that started as difficulty 5.
Mm-hmm.
You've had a previous positive experience with the player, with the character, so it's down to 4. And because of that speech, I'm going to reduce it another 2. So you're
Cool.
down to difficulty 2.
I would like to spend 1 momentum, and I would like to spend 1 threat, because I have to buy. How do I buy threat?
You just tell me that...
Oz
Yeah.
has now got
Cool.
some threats
So-
to play with.
I will be rolling 4 dice, and because of I have bold command, I may re-roll a single d20.
Okay. But hang on, before you do that... Oh, no.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you just hold on to those dice there. Casey, is there anything you would like to say?
Yes.
Science this.
I could not compete with the captain's eloquence in this situation. What I can bring is logic. I've learned under Vulcan scientists, and so I know that logic and reason are the fundaments of every science and scientific endeavor. The machine that you are about to use, and that you are using to test this, is itself untested. I was able to talk you through the way that our tricorders work. I did not yield any materials to you in the creation of that device, nor have I been a part of any of its testing. I have no earthly idea as to how well that augmentation might operate. I understand that there was an argument, that there were uncertainties. Science can't be based in uncertainties. That is all I have to contribute.
Can I have... Can I have a separate What would it be? I'm going to go with science and
Presence?
presence. Science presence.
Sure.
The difficulty is 3, and you currently have 3 momentum. Would you like to use that momentum?
I would like to buy 1 extra dice with momentum.
Okay.
And I would like to buy 1 extra dice with threats.
Just to make our final showdown more exciting.
That is 3 successes.
Boom!
Okay.
However, whenever I have untapped potential, for I am fresh out of Starfleet, and I've just been looking at this, whenever the character succeeds at a task for which they have bought... Oh, is this a task?
This is a task?
I also would like to put... This might be relevant that if I pass, because I have the talent follow my lead.
Okay, let's go with Casey's first.
Sorry, yeah, but no, this could give him bonuses.
Okay.
Oh no, it's determination. That's correct. Sorry, I got overexcited.
Untapped potential. Whenever a character succeeds at a task for which they bought 1 or more additional dice with either momentum or threat, they may roll a d6. The character receives bonus momentum equal to the roll of the d6 and adds 1 point to threat if an effect is rolled.
Oh, so it's challenge dice.
Oh,
okay,
so it's
that's
rolling
fine.
one of the challenges.
Yeah.
Cool.
Bring it.
Just going to quickly blast that. That's a 6 and a 5.
That is 2 lots of effects.
No, that's 2 threat.
That's 2 threat.
But it does add 2.
Yeah, it adds 2.
Yeah, it
adds to both.
well.
2 momentum, 2 threat.
Yeah, it's 2 lots of thing plus effect, so that's 2 threat
Helping.
plus.
So we've just added 4 threat by talking.
Okay.
I'm going to re-roll one of my dice then, because
Okay, that's fine.
right.
So
Very exciting.
Takahashi
Doesn't know what to do.
steps forward. He is right that this is untested. I'm not sure. As a scientist, I have to go with the best evidence I can use at a time. And I do not believe in this evidence. The Lieutenant Commander asked me to perform this test with an untested device. I retract my evidence.
He does, like, quietly fist bump in the corner.
Athan, what happens with you? Sorry, what did you get?
I have got 3 successes.
Okay. The Mallory looks at all of you and looks among the crew. I can tell from your faces that many of you were swayed by the statements made here. I would be a fool not to listen to them. Without Takahashi's evidence, we will put the chief engineer in the brig for now, and we will deal with determining what is the deal with the alien once we get back to Earth. The half of the crew kind of sigh. Most of them the engineering faction. And I have to ask you all. It is now 11:20. I didn't expect to go this late. What do we wish to do? There is still a couple. We haven't resolved the Moss situation or the ship entirely.
Nor have we had any denouement.
No.
What are you saying the options are?
The options are stay later, or pursue this at a later Tuesday.
I do not
I'm
wish
okay
to
with either.
rush the ending. My primary concern is whatever we do, I don't want to rush the ending.
Okay.
I can go on later, but I'm aware others cannot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not strictly an option for me.
Okay.
We have the Tuesday after Empire.
Okay. In that case, I am going to send something to Lieutenant Commander Gwen Anderson.
Flesh-eating monster. That is now
Lieutenant Commander Gwen Anderson.
I'm on to you.
Are you really?
No.
I completely forgotten about it.
Aliens can't do this kind of voice.
Those on the Atlantis hear a communication start. Lieutenant Commander, some of the engineering faction have come to the bulkheads. They are saying that that engineering itself has been locked down. They can't get in. Something is going on within there. And then you hear the engines of this ship flare to life, and there is a rumbling from the ship itself. The comm system initiates, like the ship-wide comm system. And Lieutenant Commander Gwen Anderson's voice comes over the system.
I'm sorry, but this is the only way. I never meant for any of this to happen. Notice the accent, sure. You must believe me. I never wanted to hurt anyone, but you humans! All you do is hurt each other and that which you do not understand. Even though you've hunted me like an animal, I harbour no hatred for your kind. I am a scientist, a peaceful explorer, and if I could save your lives, I would. If I do not do this now without pause, my world will be destroyed. Please, take comfort in the knowledge that your sacrifice will save millions of lives on countless worlds.
And we're going to leave it there this week.
Dun dun dun!
Oh, this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, good call leaving it though, yeah.
Yeah.
Packing the denouement of that into 7 minutes would have been a bit...
Pew, pew, pew! Anderson, is that you? Boom! Oh, let's have some tea.
No.
It would have been when the budget gets cut at the end. They're like, and Anderson returned to her people.
Well, this is our season finale. We don't continue. We get cancelled. It's
Don't say that.
Don't say that.
we get fireflied.
Oh, my heart.
Too soon.
No cliffhanger.
I kind of want to now not be in the next session and get someone else to do the makeup and be like, I was Talandra all along.
I've been recast. I got put in a brand new show.
I'm very sorry that went a little longer than I expected.
Don't be
now,
sorry, that was
Oh
delicious.
no, more Trek! Oh no!
But did everybody have fun?
More scenery to chew. How will I cope?
Mm-hmm.
I got the captain's speech, even if I lost the plot towards the end.
You did amazing. We couldn't tell.
That was good. That was good.
Speaking as a giver of inspirational speeches at times, it is really hard. And you always feel like you've lost the thread, but provided you kind of go, that's the thing we have to remember. Everyone goes, it is the thing we have to remember.
Yeah, I did that. I was like, right, got to bring us back in. Does anyone know this? Whatever. Fine, cool.
It's a trick everyone's done, and it's great. I've still got my plan, so. By the way, because he's going to yell at me otherwise, I need to give an unofficial shout out to Lucas, my darling, who lives in my house, who has been sending me thoughts. Like during the stream, I have been like, I've got some thoughts about
Science advisor on tap. Oh, Casey, you should do that.
He's my pocket Vulcan. He's my Treknobabble advice.
Yeah, so when you said you had Treknobabble on tap, what you meant is Lucas.
Well, I know my stuff too, but just every now and
But
then
also,
I'm like...
when you need Treknobabble on tap, you go to alternative sources.
And the beautiful thing is he knows me so well, is that he sent me a quick message based on some of my thoughts and just went cryptically, remember the teachings of Surak? And I was like, oh, I do remember the teachings of Surak. And that's why I'm going to marry Lucas, not Surak.
I wanted to check there, actually, when you said that. It wasn't clear.
Okay.
Talandra had a poster of Surak in her room when she was a teenager.
And still does.
Okay, why don't we start going through the thoughts of everybody, starting with the thoughts of the late Lieutenant Commander Gwen Anderson.
I mean, the thoughts of the late Lieutenant Commander Gwen Anderson are mostly...
How do you feel as a player?
That was good. I wasn't expecting that. In any way.
Well, so what I might do with you is chat to you about the alien themselves and maybe have you play them.
I mean,
It's fun to be the
seems
enemy.
sensible given that I'm currently playing the alien now.
Yes. Okay. What about Casey?
One of my good friends is an alien or dead. So great. So great.
Well, Ensign, another of your good friends is an alien. Like, you are aware that that's okay, right?
It's okay to have alien friends. It's not okay when they subsume the being of a Starfleet officer. Yeah, it was going really well. We kind of swung the court case around. It was everyone was happy. I did a little fist bump. We had a moment of this is finally working out. And then Anderson betrayed us. So
No, I didn't.
Obviously, there's no one's
Sorry,
betrayed you.
No, I didn't.
then Anderson
on the
betrayed
other
us by
hand,
being
did.
subsumed.
I'm so glad you picked the accent. It makes this so much clearer.
Yes.
Um,
Accent switching is how we're
don't like that
defining
it
whether I'm being
perpetu-
Anderson or whether I'm being...
I do not like that it perpetuates the stereotype that British are always evil in space.
Scotland is still British for now.
Yeah.
Not to Americans, it's not.
I mean, fair point. But, you know... That's the only way I can do two extremes of voice.
I get it.
How is Talandra?
Talandra's been problem solving. She's been bustling about. To be honest, like this is bad because flesh eating moss problem with the air filtration system. But like Talandra's been a Starfleet officer for quite a long time, and she's trained for this. Well, like one of her values is emotion in a crisis always makes things worse. So she is in the situation of going, everything is a problem and I'm going to solve it. And I think she's doing well based on that. Like, the only problem that she can't immediately fix is the hole in the side of the ship, which is being repaired and is not currently, like, ship-threatening. She's pretty convinced that she has a high chance of having this Moss situation in hand. Like, she was reasonably fatalistic about it to the captain because the captain needed to know the worst case scenario because the captain might be making dangerous, bold plans as Starfleet captains do and therefore needs to know all the risks. But Talandra is fairly confident that she's going to manage this situation. But now I feel really bad because there's this kind of sad moment where Talandra had a bit of mild sass about the engineer, which is fair. The engineer XO sass is real, and now Anderson will never be able to go, what have you done to my ship? Like, she's never going to be able to...
she might.
She died with
I
happy
think
naivety.
it's a bit Gwen died thinking that her ship was fine.
As her hand began to be swallowed, at least the ship's
It's
okay.
all good. Yeah, that might well have actually been her last thought. Was, yeah, it's like, well, at least the ship is fine.
Well, luckily, Talandra does not sentimentalise the dead.
How is Captain Athan?
Best captain.
Captain Athard is going to remain open to the possibility of understanding the nature of this alien to figure out if Anderson is dead. These frankly primitive humans have always jumped to the worst case scenario, and she was open to the possibility that this alien was indeed not hostile, that it simply had a nature which made it appear so.
Yeah,
And
I'm
so-
going to give Oz the benefit of the doubt that he said late Anderson just to throw us off the trail.
Oh yeah,
And in fact,
OC, I'm
hasn't.
not going to believe this probably ever, even when this is all over and like we're holding Gwen's funeral and like Athard is dying inside, and Kat's going to be like, no mate, she's fine.
No, fam.
But
Star Trek
yes,
Iskander 2, the search for Gwen?
the search for Gwen. Also, so yes, Athan is now prepared to do to find the truth. She's also still really angry at Mallory, and yet her anger is too inconvenient right now. So she's just waiting for the opportunity to tear a strip off Mallory. But yes, thankfully there is still some Starfleet is still Starfleet. They might lose their way because they are primitives, but they are finding their way back, and we will show them.
Okay. Well, we've had a great time. Thank you, everybody at home. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time after... Oh, hang on. No, 1 week time, because it's a Tuesday. We'll be back next week with the final... I'm pretty sure it's going to be the final part of Star Trek Adventures, Star Trek Iskander. And we have, as always, been beautiful. You've been amazing. And now we are going to roll out.